Hi, I'm Leigh with the Brain Performance Center. Let's talk a little bit about the brain today. So what would you say if I walked up to you and I said, roses are red, violets are blue? That's what I would say, but I don't know where I learned that. Did I learn that in a nursery rhyme? Did I learn that learning my colors? Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. Did I learn that from my grandmother? I don't know, but I know it lives in my brain. But it lives in the subconscious part of the brain. And the subconscious part is so much more powerful than the conscious part. And let me show you what I mean. So sit down with me and let's try a little experiment. What I want you to do is I want you to extend your dominant leg and flex your foot and have that foot draw circles, small circles clockwise. Then I want you to take your dominant hand and I want you to draw the number 6. One of two things will happen. Either your foot will freeze in midair or your foot will go in the opposite direction. It will reverse itself. And that's because we have to stop and think about moving our foot in that clockwise circle. But we're so used to drawing the number 6. We've done that so many times, that's automatic to us. What we know on the conscious level is far different than what we know on the subconscious level. And when it comes to the conscious level, it takes a lot more energy to access it. Do you ever feel like you're on autopilot? You get in your car and you drive to work and you don't think about what you're doing, you just arrive. And that's how strong the subconscious is. I'm not saying that the conscious is not important. It is. It's a gateway to get into our subconscious. But what I'm saying is that our brain values the feelings that we have less than the facts. And the feelings and the emotion live at the subconscious level. There's a part of the brain called the limbic system, and there's 3 pieces, and one is the amygdala, and that's way deep in the brain. And anytime we feel danger, that's what signals the fight or flight mode. And once that goes, the fight or flight mode goes into play, it then signals the hypothalamus, and that is what controls the involuntary motor movement. And then you've got the hippocampus, and that's where memory is encoded. But it takes all 3 pieces of the brain to really form a complete memory. You stop and think about it. You go up and you see a pan on the stove and you don't realize that the stove is still on, and you pick up the pan. Ouch, that hurts. Well, we probably won't have to do that very many times to remember that we don't want to touch a hot pan. And that's because while the hippocampus encodes that memory, it's the amygdala that attaches an event with an emotion. It's put that tag on there, that hurt. So when we think about how the brain works, it's not as straightforward as we'd like to think it is. You know, the brain really exists on 3 levels. It's the physical level. The physical part of the brain knows that we need to eat, we like to eat, we have to eat to survive. And there's the emotional level, and that's what connects the heart and the brain. And then there's the rational brain, and that's where all the logic and thought lies. So when you think about it, you know, do you ever make a decision and you have to make a decision, part of you wants to say yes, part of you wants to say no. I just had dinner with my partner, my best friend, and they bring the dessert tray by, and I see that creme brulee on the dessert tray. Oh, I can smell it. I can feel how creamy it's going to be on my tongue. I want it. But then I've got the rational part of my brain saying, that's got too much sugar in it. That's unhealthy. That's not good for you. So, what decision do we usually end up making? A lot of the time, feelings trump logic. And that's because the brain values the feelings. As you go through your day, the next day or so, stop and think about what different part of the brain that you're tapping into when you make those decisions. Whether it's a decision to buy something, or a place to be social, or a person to hang with, we're using all different parts of the brain.